everyone. So on May 25th, George Floyd was murdered in broad daylight, and since then, the world has shifted. There have been mass protests in America, as well as in a multitude of other countries, where protesters are taking to the streets and standing in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. From the UK to Italy, France, Japan, India, everyone is calling out the systemic racism that has long plagued our society. I have been gone for over a month, and while part of the reason I didn't film was because it felt wrong to talk about anything not related to the protests, I'm now back, and I thought I could do my part by talking about some of the stuff that has happened over the last month, as well as what's going on now. So that brings me to today's topic, which is Operation BLUEFALL. The name BLUEFALL was taken from Pridefall, which was a planned raid, I guess, that people from 4chan were going to do, where they were planning to attack and dox openly LGBT people online. But once knowledge of this plan spread, they seem to have dropped it. And so the name was hijacked and reused for something good. The hashtag BLUEFALL was started by Elijah Daniel, an influencer, musician, and overall chaotic being, who on June 4th put up this message. The goal was to draw attention to the multitude of videos that were being shared online of police brutality, as well as getting it trending so that it was forced in the faces of the people who were denying it. And as such, they were tagging local officials so that they wouldn't be able to pretend that this wasn't happening in their area. It was not just videos of police brutality during the protests, but police treating people with unnecessary force, often for no reason, and of course around Black people. Within hours of the plan being launched, the hashtag quickly reached trending. By the end of June 4th, there were way over 500,000 tweets, 3,000 posts on Instagram, and over 2 million views on TikToks relating to the hashtag. I'll mostly be talking about Twitter here because that is the medium I am most familiar with. So these videos were being shared and retweeted, and they were an unbiased, objective evidence of the ridiculous breadth of police violence that is happening daily in our country. But despite this overwhelming evidence and its place on the trending tag, officials and police departments tried very hard to ignore it. The Chicago Police Department untagged themselves from all videos and everything relating to police brutality on Instagram. The Philadelphia Police Department started blocking people after they were unable to argue successfully about why their police officers were covering their badge numbers. And the Chicago police chief started blocking people on Twitter as well for calling them out. These videos showed police shooting rubber bullets at press, at peaceful protesters, using tear gas, even when officials and mayors were saying that they did not use tear gas. It showed them pushing over bystanders, treating people with completely unnecessary force, and not just one department, but pretty much every department in every state in the country, Republican or Democrat or whatever. There were videos of everyone. Governor Andrew Cuomo finally acknowledged the tweets after hours of tagging local officials, but he said, as bad as the videos were, none of them happened in New York.
That is a hyper-partisan rhetorical attack. Police bludgeon peaceful protesters with batons for no reason. That's not a fact. They don't do that. Anyone who did do that would be obviously reprehensible, if not criminal.
Obviously prompted a huge flood of tweets, this time tagging him in it. Governor Cuomo even had the audacity to complain that the treatment that cops were getting at these protests was disgusting.
They've treated police officers with such disrespect in New York City that I am stunned. I've never seen that level of disrespect to a police officer.
The same thing happened when multiple police departments, especially the Los Angeles Police Department, but also when the Trump photo op happened, denied the use of tear gas. There were videos online that directly contradicted this, and online activists did not take a second before making sure that they were flooding everyone's timelines. Now, this continued for days. 4 days later, on June 8th, people noticed that they weren't getting notifications for tweets that had hashtag BLUEFALL in them, leading to suspicions that it had been shadow banned. It also stopped showing up on trending, though that's usually because if any tweets are trending for several days, they stop showing up on the trending tab, which is also why you might not be seeing Black Lives Matter or Breonna Taylor trending anymore, even though there are so many tweets and so much information still going out about it. So hashtag BLUEFALL was turned into an archive, and hashtag OpBLUEFALL was used to call out officers. There were also suspicions that these videos were being deleted or hidden, especially on TikTok. So Twitter accounts were collecting videos, and even Reddit users started contributing by working on a GitHub repository, collecting and cataloging all instances of police-instigated brutality against the current protests. Hundreds of thousands of videos attacking protesters unprovoked, attacking random bystanders. Individual cops were identified and called out for their actions. Their names and numbers were put out for everyone to see. But was there any point to it? Obviously, protests, Black Lives Matter organizers, and other on-ground organizations were doing most of the work. But the widespread availability of these videos probably also contributed and helped draw the spotlight, as much as people like to say that social media activism doesn't actually help. Multiple articles were published showing these videos. John Oliver covered the topic on his Last Week Tonight. Specific police officers were called out and held responsible. The officers involved in shoving that old man over were suspended. Seattle City Council member Kshama Sawant sent out a news release calling on the mayor to be removed or to step down. She was joined by Tammy Morales and Teresa Mosqueda. Though most council members seem to be siding with the mayor here, there are videos of Seattle police blocking an ambulance, repeatedly deploying tear gas, pepper spray, and blast balls, and with these videos there's been a breakthrough in local politics. Martin Hess, the West Virginia fire chief, resigned after his disgusting posts were brought to light. The West Virginia National Guard is also pursuing disciplinary action against a guardsman for similar reasons, but some of these officers involved haven't even been fired. The hashtag started on June 4th, but that doesn't mean that that's when the majority of the videos came out. There are still videos and messages and emails coming out of horribly racist things that authority figures are saying. It may seem like the energy online is dying, but it definitely isn't. And don't use news media or your timeline as an example of what's actually happening. There are still vast protests happening everywhere. People are still very, very angry, and for good reason. And even all of this change that has happened wouldn't have happened without the public outcry that is still going on. This reminds me a lot of 2014, which I think is when I first started paying attention to politics and when I was first radicalized, I guess, or when I was pushed in that direction. This seems to be the last straw for a lot of people, along with it happening during a global pandemic with our trust in government officials falling for very good reason. These videos are coming out, there's undeniable proof, and still authority figures get away with everything just because they're the ones in power, which is not fair. So I don't think this is even close to the end of it, but the change that we need is more than just sharing videos and sharing links online. We need broad systemic change, and there are things that you can do yourself as individuals. Support Black businesses, donate to organizations that are doing good things. I'll put some links in the description. Educate yourselves and your families and the people around you, because a lot of what we think we know is very, very tainted with white supremacy, and we all have a lot of unlearning and relearning to do. I will put links in the description to some of those organizations as well as resources where you can learn more. I'll catch you next time with a video on how K-pop stans are actually the most powerful force on the internet. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay loud and angry. Peace.